Hello, hello. So I'm back for my second Facebook Live. I'm really, again, the word of last week was excited if you caught it. So I definitely am very excited again. Um, I really think that this week we're going to focus on color and the color trends because a lot of times what we're hearing is I don't know what balayage is. I don't know what ombre is. I don't know what baby lights are. And I remember a text message conversation that I had with some of my colleagues about the different names for highlights and the different names for dimension, and it just made me giggle out loud, all of the different things that we came up with. One of them was stoplights, and so yeah, that made me giggle too. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing so many beautiful people. Good morning, Thomas, Jim, LeBoyd, good morning. Good morning, Carrie, good morning. Good morning, Missy, good morning. You guys, I just want to give you a little thought process about who might be joining us this week. I got some really great feedback from one of my mentors who's part of a global network of amazing educators with Paul Mitchell, like myself, and we are mad in number. So a lot of the times you're gonna see people who are gonna comment in on what they see, and a lot of it is my amazing network of hairdressers. A lot of it is people who have as different and as, you know, extraordinary experience as I do, as far as like what life is like in the industry and what it is to be a hairdresser. So I thank you from all, like, the bottom of my heart here that my fellow hairdressers are supporting me in this, and I love y'all very, very, very much. So I'm going to get started because it looks like we've got 14 people who are here. We're going to talk about, again, you know, how to speak hairstylist, but we're going to definitely talk trend hair. So first things first, there's like three different kind of techniques or categories that we're going to start with when we're talking about hair color. Actually, maybe let's talk more about four. One, all over color, you guys. And that's like the color that you're going to see from the root to the ends. That's all over hair color. And that's generally staying at where you are or going darker. Another one is foiling, where you actually take foil and you place it strategically throughout the head to create different patterns. And hi, Mom. My mom's on, guys. Gotta love that. When you're foiling, you can break that down into a couple of different ways. You can do what we call a partial foil, which is just like right along the hairline and along the top of the head, which we call the crown. And that is just a really great way to add dimension to your color that you have now. A full foil would actually go from like all the way across and all the way back, and that would really create a much more all over color look, but again, still with that beautiful dimension. So you're seeing different highs and lows inside of that hair color. Now that's just one way that we can create dimension in hair color. Another one is a lot of people have been asking for balayage. And what is balayage? We even asked that, you know, question right at the beginning. So balayage, it's a hair painting technique, and what we've seen a lot in our trends recently is that we are seeing people who are doing more lived in hair color. And I personally am very, very into the lived in hair color because I feel like it just has more of a natural look, and it really takes, again, that person that's sitting in your chair and enhances their natural beauty and creates just like all different kinds of looks. So balayage is hair painting, where you're taking hair color or lightener and or a high lift color and painting that onto the hair in places that so many hairdressers have been trained and have educated themselves about to enhance your natural texture, your haircut, frame your face better, all that good stuff. And then ombre, which is actually a technique. The ombre technique began in fashion. and it's a gradation of color. A lot of times we'll start at the base and we'll gradually work our way to like a lighter result at the end. And the difference between like that the idea of ombre is really just like an overall look. Like there's many different ways that you can do ombre. You can use a foiling technique or a balayage technique in order to create an ombre look. So again, it's about that dimension. It's about that look that you have, and that look that you're desiring. And again, when we talked about this last week, and if you didn't get a chance to see last week's video, it's actually on our YouTube page. We just started a YouTube page. There's a few videos on there, but our YouTube page is CARVE Salon. And so what we talked about last week was consultations and really knowing what you have on your head and being able to ask your stylist those questions, or be able to, you know, really do that information seeking and figuring it out yourself. But then to know what you want and looking for those pictures. Again, I went to Pinterest because I feel like when you type in different tags for Pinterest, being able to find those things is really great. But what I did this morning was I typed in partial foil, and I saw an array of different things that just blew my mind. I saw some partial foils, but I also saw some full foils, and I saw some balayage techniques, and I saw some ombres. And so that kind of confusion can really happen for people who aren't trained to do these kinds of things. So again, we're going to go through just a little bit more in depth about that. So foiling, guys. The cool thing about foils is that there's 3 different ways that you can place the foil and 2 different ways that we can do the foil. And every hairdresser has this thought process. So like if you put in a foil that's horizontal, that goes like straight across your head, it's gonna be a really blended look. If you do something that's diagonal, forward or diagonal backwards, it's just going to have like a little bit stronger placement. But if you do something that's like very vertical, very straps, that's going to be that old school Kelly Clarkson like strap business, which apparently is popular again. I'm not sure how I feel about that. We'll talk about that another day. But so that foiling technique, those foiling techniques can be really wonderful. And I love, there's literally so many things that you can do with those foiling techniques in the right hands with the right hairdresser. 2 things that you can do with that too is like a different weave. You'll see your hairstylist go through different sections, and they'll either slice one fine section and place the color in the foil, or they'll go through and they'll weave it a little bit. So they take out little tiny bits, and that creates a more blended look as well. Again, your hairstylist is the person who knows like the actual techniques. So trusting in them when you bring them your pictures. This is really just an opportunity for me to tell you what some of these things mean, so that you can have better opportunities to ask the questions to your stylist. So we're going to talk again about classifications of hair color. There's 3 different ways that we talk about hair color, guys. There's semi, demi, and permanent. There's also temporary, and there's also, you know, henna and box dye and all that stuff. But like as a professional hairstylist, we really work with semi, demi, and permanent. And semi, what that means, you guys, is it's 3 to 5 weeks. It's a very translucent, beautiful color, almost like a gloss, a glaze, or a toner. I'm sure you've heard those terms in your salon experiences. That is like a 3 to 5 week gloss over the hair. It enriches your hair in a beautiful, healthy way. It's usually either the same tone that you have, where we're just enhancing it or neutralizing it a little bit to create the tone that you want, or it is going to add a little depth to your hair, so make it deeper or darker. Demi-permanent is a little bit more opaque. So translucent, you can see through it a little bit. A more opaque finish is going to be something that's going to be a little harder to see through. Now that is, like I said, demi is a little more opaque, and it lasts a little bit longer. It's got more of a 4 to 6 week opportunity for you. So what's cool about semi and demi is it's a really great, healthy way for you to experience color in the salon and enjoy different tones and tonalities in the salon without the worry of like lifting and damaging your color. Also, side note, what's great about a semi and demi is that because with each shampoo you get a little bit more color to come off as it grows out, you don't see that really harsh line of demarcation. Not that I have one, thank you very much. Doing what I can. Pop XG, Paul Mitchell, all day. But so yeah, definitely I love my semi and demi colors because they're what do we call it in the Paul Mitchell world? Lease with the option to buy. It's a way for you to step into the color and see what you want to do. Permanent hair color. Permanent hair color shifts the actual interior of your hair. That's what it does. So there's definitely some different things that you can do with that that are so fun, and your hairstylist will be able to tell you, even like will be able to coach you in the right way. And I love that aspect about being a hairdresser is creating that relationship with my guests. Color versus double process. I'm sure you've probably heard double process or bleach and tone or you know, those types of things. Now a color is just a root to tip color. That's what it is. Just one color, one time, looks great, love it. Generally, again, that's going to be something that is going to be, that's just going to be like your color or a little bit darker. And I love that because you can, again, play with all different kinds of colors in that way. You might have a little bit more shift and more excitement with that. A double process color, that's lift and tone. And what I mean by lift is we're lifting color out of your hair, so we're making it lighter and toning it, which means that we're going to kind of refine that color, because when you lift hair, you get undertones, and undertones are what we hairstylists get to navigate. So just so you understand some of these things, as far as when someone says, I want to do a color or a tint on you, that's one color. But for example, if you were going to do, like, I want an ombre color, there's things that are that come into play with that. And part of the reason that they might need more time or maybe working into something like that is because there's a lot of different aspects of what we do with those things. So I'll try to cover a little bit more of that too. And then the dreaded color correction. Every hairdresser loves the color correction, but sometimes our guests don't always love a good color correction. The color correction, you guys, is utilizing the techniques that I talked about, whether it was a foiling technique, a balayage technique, or an all-over color technique, to really drastically change the color of your hair. And that's what that is. And color corrections they take a lot of know-how, and your client, your stylist is really going through to find the best way to achieve the best style. But I'm going to say this to you honestly and truthfully as a hairdresser, please, please, please recognize that we can't necessarily take you from black to blonde in 3 hours without cutting off all your hair. And that's not because your hairdresser isn't amazing, and that isn't because your hairdresser just doesn't know how or doesn't have the right products. It is because there are steps to create beautiful hair and maintain health and integrity. So with your color corrections, understand that we are working with your hair to create what you want, and it may take a couple of times. Yeah, I honestly, you guys, I love color. I love doing color. But one of the things that I think has been a challenge for people too is the cost of color. Like, what does that cost to you? What does that mean to you? Why does a color correction cost so much money? The incredible amount of beautiful mermaid hair has been outstanding, and I have really enjoyed it myself. Obviously lavender hair, but those bright, beautiful tones to the pastel tones, to the silvers, to the grays, all of these things, these trends are beautiful. And again, what does Heidi Klum always say? In fashion, one day you're in, then the next you're out. Well, that might be true in fashion, but with hair, I definitely have seen a lot more, like, it takes a little bit more time. So it might not be one day you're in and the next day you're out. It might be a little bit, because we see a lot of different trends that start like on the coasts and then they come into like Minneapolis, hey, where I am. And so you definitely get to see those trends stick around a little bit longer, but those trends are just that. And that's why it's wonderful to have a stylist who knows how to figure out how to make those trends work for you. So, cost of color. I can't give you an absolute on any of this because I'm not your hairdresser, or maybe I am, and I love you if I am. I love you anyway. But definitely think about the steps that might have to happen. So say, for example, you are a woman with dark brown hair. To us, that's like a 3, 4, 5. That's what those letters mean. They're like levels high to low. And so you have this beautiful dark brown hair, and you've had dreams of being a beautiful redhead, like a light, beautiful redhead. So one of the things that we might do in that regard is we might do what's called a soap cap, or a color repigmentation, or not color repigmentation, a color balance, excuse me. Sorry. You know what? I need some more coffee. Hang on. Wonder Woman. So what those things are, what a color balance or a soap cap is it's shampoo, a lightener of some sort, and hydrogen peroxide. And what we do then is we'll dampen your hair, and we'll utilize that to really just pull some of the color out of the hair. Hi, Renita. It's okay, girl. Don't worry about it. One thing that we'll pull some of that color out. It's not as aggressive as actually going in with just straight up lightener, because that water is there to dilute it, as is the shampoo. But one of those, it's a really great way for us to just kind of take some of that interior color out of your hair, so that when we place our new desired result on top of it, it just looks fantastic, and it has brightness and shine and gorgeousness. So that's one step towards a color correction. Another one that that you can do is you can actually, like we talked about earlier with the foils. What's great about working with foils is that you're able to incubate the hair and isolate it. And so for us, we're able to like really place where we want to see the lightness in your hair, and then isolate it from the rest of the hair. Balayage is another really great way. But so what I'm talking about when I say if you're going to be brown and then you're going to be blonde redhead, is that we may need to lift you, because we may need to see a little bit more of the underlying pigment in your hair. Like, if you've ever used Sun-In, metallic dye, don't use it. But if you did in the past, you know that when you put it on your dark hair, your hair turned orange. Yes? Yes, maybe it turned a little yellowy gold, but mostly it turned orange. So what you're seeing there is you're seeing the undertones of your color. Or like the sun, when it lightens it, you're seeing the undertones of your color. So what I love, are these blonde wands a real thing? Oh, wow. Miriam, that is a really good question. I don't even know what a blonde wand is. I'm going to have to look that up. Miriam is one of my amazing guests in the salon, and she is one of my favorite people on the planet, actually. So I love that question, and I'm so going to find out what that is, because what is a blonde wand? And if any of my hairdresser friends are on here and they know what a blonde wand is, I would love that in my comments. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Okay, so we're talking about going from dark to red, and what that means is, like, we're definitely going to have to lift some of your color out, so that when we place that red in your hair, it actually looks like the red that you want to see. If you imagine for a second, you have a brown, like a white piece of paper and a brown piece of paper, and you are coloring with that red crayon over the brown piece of paper and the white piece of paper. If you color it over the brown, it just looks red-brown strange, right? Like, it's just red-brown. That's what it is. But you'll see a vibrancy on it when you're coloring on the white piece of paper. So we do definitely need to lift in order to tone, and that's one of the best things. That's one of the quickest ways for us to do that. The interesting thing that I've found, though, is even when you are just shifting, maybe you're not going too much lighter or too much darker, you definitely want to be able to shift your color a little bit. That color balance is a really awesome way for us to make sure that we can still see some vibrancy in your color. I feel like I'm going I'm definitely like going on too far about stuff. So semi, demi, and permanent, we talked about that. Color versus double process, we talked about that. Toners, glosses, glazes, all the same thing, guys, all the same thing. And then color correction, changing your color drastically. We talked about soap caps and color balances. So we talked about what it is to go from dark to light, but perhaps you would like to go, you've been light all summer and you're thinking, maybe I'd like to go darker. What do you do then? That is another color correction situation, because these are multiple steps. They're not just like one, you know, one little box of color that we can just throw down on there. It's definitely a little bit more of a process at that point. So just like we talked about taking our, like when we're lifting and we're taking color out of your hair, this little undertones that you see. So if we're going to take you from light to dark, then we have to put back the colors that we've already taken out in your hair. And really what that is called a filler or a repigmentation. And if you've ever had that done before, you'll know that like you've come in with your blonde hair and then your crazy stylist puts a crazy red, orange, usually color on your hair and then puts your other color on and you look crazy for a while. And that's just part of the beauty of color. What it does is it helps to create a more rich and deep, beautiful color at that point. I would love to see more questions about what kind of techniques have been strolling around your thought processes. Foiling, like we said, is one. Balayage is another. And literally, you guys, there's 1,000 different ways to balayage. And that's what's awesome about going to a hairstylist, is because we are trained to know what those thousands of ways are. And that's kind of like our jam. Like, we love that. So that, and then those different things to create, those two techniques really help us to create the different trends. The ombre trend, where you're dark to light, or reverse ombre, light to dark, which I'm not personally, still working on that one. Another one that we've been hearing a lot of is color blending and color melting. You guys, these are all such beautiful techniques, and your stylist will be able to help you figure out which ones that you really like and which ones really help you succeed the look that you're looking for. And for me personally, again, it's a matter of techniques following trends. So color blending, color melting, it's taking one color and melting it seamlessly into another, whether that's a dark color or a light color. Again, these things are up to you. I'm really, literally, the color bar is hands down one of the best places that you can be in. It is one of the most absolutely fun experiences that you can have, and you can be a little color shy or you can be really color bold. It's totally up to you. We can do any one of these techniques that we talked about today, and I personally would I'm going to scroll through here really quickly and see if there's some other questions that I can help answer, because I feel like we've got a lot of information, but you know, want to make sure. Let's plan out. Oh, my mom wants some dimension in her hair. Excellent, excellent. I'm into it, Mom. Thank you so much for all of you. Melissa, thank you. Melissa Taylor, excellent hairdresser, owns a smashing salon in Northeast Minneapolis called the Beauty Lounge. Those ladies do work like what? Love them. Jamie, I think you're fabulous, and I love you too, Stacy. Hi, Sarah. Thank you, Carolyn. So you guys, I would really encourage you to, if you've ever been at a restaurant and you see something on a menu and you don't know what it is, because I know I have been there. I am not a foodie. I mean, I love food, but I'm not a foodie is that I know all the 18 billion types of cheeses. Google it. Google images at Pinterest, but then go to the source. Go to the source of all of the hair world love, and that's your stylist. No matter where you are, no matter who you are, there's a stylist out there for you to help you figure out what you want to do. So I'm just going to recap, and then if you have questions, I will check back in on this. So please, 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 please ask me more questions about different foiling and hair color techniques. But just to recap, we talked about the different types of hair color, the classifications, semi, demi, and permanent, and what those kinds of things will do for you. Color versus double process. Color is a single process color. A double process is generally a lift or a lightening of the hair and a tone to refine that color. A toner, again, to put into there, and a toner, a gloss, a glaze, a healthy, beautiful post color applied after a pre-lightening to enhance or neutralize that color and really leave your hair feeling very healthy and shiny. A color correction is just changing your color drastically and fixing things that might happen, but definitely utilizing repigmentation and color balancing to really find the right level and the right tone for what you're going for. And all of those things are achieved by foiling, utilizing foil to create beautiful dimension, or balayage, which is literally just hand painting pieces in a very organic, lived-in way. And then that ombre technique, y'all, what that is again, is old school. Like in the fashion community, it was a way to dye fabrics, but now we're living it on our fabric is up on our heads. So that's that gradual dark to light energy, which love it or don't, you guys, it's not going away. It is now a traditional thing that we're teaching in the salons and in the schools, and it's not going away. It's really fun, actually. I personally love it. Again, thank you so much for joining me. This is just the beginning of this little Facebook Live journey for me. I really appreciate all of your love and support. And like I said, if you would like to if you didn't catch all of this one and you would like to, or if you would like to catch the one that we did last week, by all means, we've got YouTube videos up on CARVE Salon. Let's think. Okay, this week, you guys, I get to teach a haircutting class tomorrow. I'm really excited. It's going to be super fun. Next week, or no, excuse me, this Saturday. This Saturday, my family and a lot of my friends and some of my guests are going to be walking in the Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund walk. We have raised almost $2,000, you guys, and I am bonkers excited about that. My oldest son, Oliver, is a type 1 diabetic, and so I'm walking for him, but I am also walking for everyone affected by type 1 diabetes, because it is amazing. It is amazing how much hard work that people have put into this. And like the technology that they're coming through with, is so crazy. But I will see you guys next Sunday. Sunday, we won't know the time. I'll let you know sometime throughout the week, but it will definitely be a Sunday. I might need a little recovery because I'm doing walk on Saturday. But yeah, so I appreciate you so much. You're amazing. I hope you have the most amazing Sunday, and thank you. Have a great day. Bye.